This Saturday morning, it's Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania.
Yeah, smooth operator.
That was hot. A little Sade for you early in the morning. Oh, yeah. I feel like I need to call over a young lady, hang out with a candle or something, you know?
Mark Out Mania Saturday morning is now Mark Out Mania After Dark. No,
Mark Out Mania After Dark. Oh,
hola,
yeah.
amigos, and welcome to Mark Out Mania.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a very nice early Saturday morning. Hey, Zeus, how you feeling, buddy?
Good, buddy. I'm a little under the weather, but we will persevere.
We are powering through, you know?
As best we can.
He is not Ricky Henderson. He plays when he's hurt.
That's right. No complaints in this house.
No, exactly. No Cortez Kennedy over here, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Castro. What? Kennedy?
Yeah.
Ooh, he shows up to his assigned gigs. Oh, my bad. I'm just throwing all kinds of shade.
So today,
yes, I'm sorry, Pedro. Go right ahead.
I was just gonna say today, Zeus is gonna brave through his elements to give us all the awesome stories from WrestleCade.
Yeah, it was. Once again, bigger, better every year. Tracy Myers and his team do a fantastic job, and they always just they keep wanting to do it, bigger and better, and they did this year. Big shout out to those guys. WrestleCade, just a fantastic event, and so glad I went. So glad.
Look, man, I saw all the pictures and everything on Twitter. You look like you were having a blast, man. You were killing it, man. It was great stuff, Zeus. It was great stuff.
Yeah. Started out Friday night, Showcase of Champions. Went and met my buddies Hoop and Jay-Z at the Marriott with one of the guys from Tapped Out Wrestling podcast. We're all just chilling out and just talking wrestling and stuff there. And saw Mean Gene Okerlund sitting there, drinking martinis.
Nice.
Chomping down the olives. Scott Hall comes in. He may have been slightly inebriated. I cannot confirm or deny that.
Either that or he was on NyQuil.
He did have a hamburger.
Okay.
He sat at the bar near us. He had a what looked like one of the guys from Atlas Security is one of his bodyguards. Black suit, black turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those guys?
Oh,
Coach
yeah.
James. And Bob Backlund was there. He's 69 years old. He grabs a pillow off one of the couches and does a headstand.
Guy's insane, man. What's wrong with that man?
On the floor, he just does a headstand out of nowhere for nothing, and then he's like, "I bet I can do that again." And
how did the rest of the bar react?
I mean, everybody was just like, "Oh, there's a guy doing a headstand." It's like, no, I'm like, that's a former WWF World Champion doing a headstand. He's 69 years old.
And not just a headstand. Like 5 years, brutal.
Yeah, I mean, not just a headstand. He brought his legs down. He brought them back up. I mean, he just split. I mean, it was crazy.
Nice.
I was like, how drunk are you?
I couldn't do that sober. What the hell?
Yeah, because you see, there was a also Friday night after the wrestling, and I didn't go to this because I didn't like the NWO, but they had an NWO meet and greet,
Ooh.
Now,
I don't need to see Kevin Nash and Hogan. I've seen enough of Hogan in my lifetime.
Hogan was originally scheduled to be with him, but I think he got axed out of it because he wasn't there. It was
okay. Good.
Paul Nash and Bagwell.
Oh, even worse.
And Steiner, yeah. And Scott Steiner.
I would have
Just
asked
a
Bagwell
gigolo.
about exactly. I would have asked him about the Showtime show. I'm like, yo, Bagwell, nah, man, it's not a good look. I don't want to see a naked ass on Showtime. No, thank you.
Oh, no thanks.
Brutal.
Yeah, definitely not.
No, I'm telling you, man, him and his calf implants. No thanks.
Yeah. And then it was funny too because these young guys who were wrestling on the show, on the showcase show, went up to Hall and asked him for some advice, and he, I'm not feeling bad because I overheard some of this because we were sitting at our table first. He came and sat down at the bar behind us, So I didn't take any pictures or anything, but I was, some of it was English, some of it was weird words that came out of his mouth. I'm like going, what the hell did you just say?
He was speaking to Smirnoff, right?
Something.
Yeah.
So, then walked over to the convention center, just catty corner from the Marriott in downtown Winston-Salem town, and
nice,
yeah, and just packed, packed event room with the ring, and first match was Luchasaurus against this kid named Billy Brash. And that was an excellent match. I tell you, Luchasaurus he's just fantastic. I mean, for a guy his size and the guy that he used to be, I mean, he's so much better now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's just.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's improved from his early days of LU.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just look at this last season. What little we got to see of him, he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there was Showcase of Champions. What they do is they get promotions from around the country, the opportunity to come and get some exposure here in North Carolina and across the pay-per-view audience because they showed it on Fight TV. An opportunity to defend their title against, a challenger of their choosing. So, like, there was several smaller promotions that were also there that night. D'Lo Brown has a company. I think it's called WCWC, and their champion defended his title that night. And there was some other people, some other groups there. Another huge highlight was the Next Gen guys from Tennessee brought Shane Strickland to face Matt Cross.
Ooh.
And that was a fantastic match. I mean, they just,
that's fantastic in any promotion, under any scenario, in like anywhere,
Yeah. I mean, they tore the house down, and, it was just, it's just a great match. Nothing like Killshot versus Son of Havoc. Just,
right.
Just
gotcha.
a complete, it's just another complete great match from beginning to end. They did stuff. They wowed everybody and really tore the house down. And then in the main event, it was PJ Black versus Caleb Conley for the AML heavyweight title. And, once again, I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, PJ Black, he always brings it. Caleb Conley he's definitely like a quieter kind of a guy. But he shows emotion. He's got a lot of great moves. And
I never seen him wrestle. He's good, Zeus?
Yeah, he's been in Ring of Honor and Impact and other places too, and he's kind of made AML his home because he's he's another Charlotte guy.
Gotcha.
And overall, just really capable young guy, and somebody that if you get a chance to see Dale Connolly, definitely check him out.
Cool.
And heel PJ being the heel, is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the matches, I went and talked to Shane, and I got him to sign. Gave him a copy and got him to sign the art I did of the new kill shot with the green that I drew with my finger.
Oh yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Zeus. I don't mean to interrupt you for a second, but if anybody hasn't seen the work that Zeus did for this show, amazing, amazing, amazing work. He did everybody who's going to be at WrestleCade, and it looks incredible. Bow down to Zeus. He killed it. Absolutely killed it. Especially Jake Strong. I loved it.
Yeah, look at Zeus. You have a new art thread, right, on your Twitter?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the new pin tweet.
Yeah, so go look at his pin tweet on his Twitter, and you'll see he just was slaying it. James and I were lucky; we got to see all the pieces before the show as he was doing them, and
as they were doing them. I just in plain English, that's some badass shit. That's it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Zeus. Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, I love praise.
Zeus King Dark likes praise.
Yeah, there it is.
And so, I'm talking to Shane, and I look at the guy standing beside me. I'm like, "Oh, hey, Marty."
Oh, wow.
Nice.
He came a day early to watch the matches.
Cool. See, that's cool, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then I went and talked to Matt Cross and gave him a copy of the Son of Havoc. And he's such a super nice guy. I mean, he really is. I mean, he's so nice to all of his fans. So many of these people really are. I've met some people that are dicks. Mm-hmm. And it's just it was this whole weekend has been full of a lot of positivity, goodwill, and that was great to see. Got to give Matt Cross a copy of that Son of Havoc, and once again, you just can't say enough nice things about them.
Yeah.
And then then the next morning, the temperature was right at freezing, and it was rainy. So I left extra early just so I could, take it easy and slow driving to Winston. And Meef says that Matt Cross is 4'3" tall. He's short. He is short. He doesn't. You don't think of him as short. Because he's got such a great wrestling game to him. And of course it's also funny too. Like I met him 2 years ago, and it's like the first time you hear him talk in his normal voice and not his Son of Havoc voice. It's also funny too. So I get to
excuse me.
So I get to WrestleCade, nice and early.
Mm-hmm.
Get up into the line. It was about an hour and a half before the show, was going to start the Fan Fest. And that's where I was stuck in between a guy with too much high karate and a guy that smelled like gorgonzola.
Brutal.
Yeah,
thank God it was the middle of summertime. Thank God.
Zeus has become a connoisseur of cheese smells.
Fine human sense.
Yeah. Just like, God, come on.
I got 2 words for you. You soap.
Yeah.
Use soap regularly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So then, 10 o'clock finally hits. We all start, getting a pile in there. And they did a good job. That they checked, make sure you didn't have any, weapons or anything as people were going into the area. Which in this day and age, I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to ask to search your bag.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Walk straight in, just about straight in front of me was Luchasaurus.
Whoa.
So went over, talked to him, shook his hand, and we talked about, the season a little bit. And he said that he tore a bicep in the run-in after the run-in after he beat Johnny. He ripped a bicep and he was out for the season.
Oh, that why they kept him off camera. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah,
okay.
and
See, everything starts to make sense.
Right. So, and I told him to us, and I gave him that, gave him a copy of the Reptile Tribe drawing I did, and he really liked that. And I said, I really like your new mask now too. I said, I don't know how you saw out of that other one. He's like, he said it was hard to see, breathe, do anything. And I said, well, looking forward to you, tonight. And I got him to sign a copy of the Reptile Tribe art for me as well. He signed it, Vibora for me, so that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Then I caught Eli Drake before he actually got set up good. And that guy's really nice. I mean, he is a terror on the mic. He's one of those guys I would not want to heckle that guy at an event. I mean, he's just one of those guys who rips
he cuts
people
a good
apart.
promo. Yeah, he does get a good.
Yeah. Then just kept making my way down. Kept looking around. Saw my buddies with top rope belts. Jay-Z
That
Flair.
was a great picture too. That was a great picture. Oh, I was marking out hard for those belts.
Yeah, and those guys, they actually made a prototype Mil Mascaras belt.
What?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really cool. I'll share you a picture later. But they showed it to Mil because they wanted to work a deal with him to produce it, but he didn't like it. He didn't like it, so he was like, no, I don't like that. So they, it's a one of a kind now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I found Psychosis and got to give him a copy of his art that I did for him. He really liked that. He was just super nice. No beef. Mil Mascaras did not sue the top rope belt guys. Thank God. Like I said, they didn't try to put it in production yet. They just they just made a prototype. But Psychosis was really nice.
Psychosis, keep your mask on.
He was nice. He seemed like he was a little nervous. In that big area, and he was like, some people were like brought in by different like companies and things like that. So he was kind of with some other people, and like I said, that was nice to finally get to meet him. Then right down the road from him was Jake Hager, Jack Strong, Jack Swagger, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when I gave him the Jake Strong art, he loved it. He was just like, wow, man. He's like, you drew that? I said, yeah. He said, man, that's awesome. He's like, I love that. And he talked so much about how much he enjoyed Lucha Underground. He said it's such a great, and unique, wrestling TV show, and he was very hopeful that he could get to do more with him.
Really?
And yeah, and
did he have the LU strap with him?
No, he didn't have one. He didn't have one with him. And then his, he was, like I said, you see, some of these people, like I said, were, brought in with other people.
Right.
And one of the things I hope they do next year is they do a better job of identifying who these people are.
Right. Actually, who they
because
came
it's
with.
like,
right? Yeah.
Because it's like, it's like Hobo Joe in in a plaid jacket, in a sweatpants. It's like what, you want my money? Why do you want my money? Okay, you're with Lizard Lick Trucking that brought him here. Okay, well, I didn't fucking know. I'm just,
right. Have a sign at least.
You're just some schmuck asking me for money.
Right. You're just sharpening a piece of paper at least. Here's a sign. I brought so and so. Yeah.
They should have like a little name tag thing.
Yeah.
No,
exactly,
they should have they should have a T-shirt.
Oh,
they should have a T-shirt that says, title match wrestling or whatever it is that, it's like, and then they should have, it's like, something, it's like, see me for, photograph, autograph information, whatever, something like that.
Double Y, double H is like F Jake Strong. Easy, YY, easy. He's the perfect heel champ.
Yeah, I mean, how can you hate that guy? I mean, he was so nice.
Excuse me, boo.
Yeah, I know. I know, boo, boo, boo.
Not me. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw where, Hurricane was supposed to be at it, and like a lot of the people that I know, they're real, they're real good friends with him, and it's like, that's great and all, he's like the mask he wore that weekend. It was like really tight on his face and made part of his face look fat. It's like
and Golga.
Yeah, it's a really odd thing. And I was like going, you could just, you don't need the mask anymore. I was like, but whatever, it's fine. It's like, whatever, makes you happy.
Yeah.
And then, he asked which, which color 8x10 I wanted. And I picked one of him and his wife, Catalina, and he's like, come back later and she'll sign that too. And so then I went and moved on. I found PJ and Marty. They were together and they were right beside Taya and Johnny.
Oh wow!
And yeah, and so got to give them their artwork, and that the Marty artwork that I'd done a while back, and he really liked that. And PJ loved his. We talked about the different hair colors and everything that he'd been, and what he'd been doing with his hair lately. And Marty was like, "Yeah, what color is that?" He's like, it just depends on whatever's in the damn water when I dye it. He's like, nice. It's like, he's like, I did one. He's like, I was going to do silver, and then by the time I was done with it, it was like light pink. because of whatever levels of chemicals and fluoride and whatever the hell else was in the water that reacted with the.
I'm surprised half these guys and girls aren't bald, because all the shit they put in their head,
Oh yeah, and so got to talk to Marty a little bit. He's also doing this stuff with these supplements and things, trying to get like healthier alternatives for energy drinks and stuff like that. So it's that's a good thing. I got a sample pack of that, the different things for that, and pardon me all for being sick, but I just wanted to get this, get all this stuff done with everything as fresh in my mind as possible. But yeah, I mean, PJ and Marty, they were fantastic. They were, so nice. Then went over and gave Ty a copy of the one I'd drawn for her. And then I'd drawn the Boone the Bounty Hunter for Johnny. And I handed that to him. And he couldn't even say anything at first. He liked it so much. He sat it down in front of him, and he looked down at it, and he's like reading all the little quips, and he's like, oh my God, he's like, this is awesome, dude. I mean, he loved it so much. And I felt so awesome to be able to, it's like, obviously, I've watched the movie about 20 times.
Yeah. I told you I want to use your drawing as my DVD cover.
Yeah, and so he got a big kick out of that. And
that's cool.
He and I tell you that, see, once again, some things you don't know and you don't think about until later. But like now I wish I'd have gotten a picture with all four of them with me. Because remember, for one night on Lucha Underground, they were all Worldwide Underground.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Season 3, Marty subbed in for Jack, and they told Ricky to go second hand. And then after that, I went and found Thunder Rosa, and she was like, she was so nice, and she really liked her. She really liked her art. And then I had her sign the same red copy that Luchasaurus signed. And of course I was looking for the other member that was part of the Reptile tribe that was scheduled to be there, but alas, Drago did not show because he was stuck in Pennsylvania. It was bad weather up there, and I didn't I didn't fault him at all for not being able to make it down to North Carolina from that. So
that's why Cobra Moon gave a shout out to Mark on Mania too. That was cool.
Yes. Cut in on the broadcast last week. So
muchas gracias.
Yep, and then she even posted something, right? Oh no, actually, WrestleCade posted a little interview and
they had Alicia Atout from Impact, and she was going around doing little interviews with people, and she interviewed Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa showed off my art and everything.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
She was like, I get gifts. She's like, oh, what was the gift you got? And she's like, I'll show you. I was like, oh man, that's really cool. And And then also when I got to talk to Shane Strickland at Showcase of Champions, I told him, I said, how much that final vignette hit me hard, and I basically described it to him the exact way I did on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said, that I heard that almost exact same thing from on a podcast. And I was like going, what? I was like, did you listen to Mark Out Mania? But I was actually so blown away I wasn't able to ask him about it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So maybe that generated the same response in someone else on a different podcast. But if not,
I think we have a lot of closet listeners somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Excuse me.
But and then made my way around and found the lovely Carly Leilani Perez.
Oh, that's when Pedro marked out hard on the
God.
podcast. He got excited. He was like, I actually, if you listen to the podcast and if you're real quiet, you can actually hear Pedro's heart go pitter patter. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
But she was super nice, and I introduced myself and I was like, I draw wrestlers, and I said, I felt like drawing something, very different from you, because you're not just like any other, you're not just a typical wrestler, and she loved it. And then she put that and me on her Instagram story, which is really cool. And I didn't talk to her much about Lucha Underground. Talked to her more about her upcoming movie stuff. She's got a lot going on. It didn't sound like she had anything ruled out. Like she didn't seem closed off to Lucha Underground, but I mean, she just seemed like she's so busy doing stuff right now that I'm sure, the impression that I got was that, if Lucha Underground, did a season 5 and she wasn't doing anything else, I'm sure she would go do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
So
how does she?
So
not
who
show
knows?
up
Who knows? Because I mean, we basically know that we have, her something that has to do with her is inside of Phoenix,
right?
So there is room for her to not be, completely dead and gone, from Lucha Underground. Cobra Moon, she had one of the, she had somebody made a trios title belt, that she was there with, and actually, PJ Black went and talked to her later, and he got his picture with her trios title.
Yeah.
And
that's cool how she had the trios title with her. That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And then the way they arranged the Fan Fest room this year, it was in a different room, nice big room, but in previous years they'd put a wrestling ring in the middle of it and had wrestling on during the Fan Fest, which was not a great idea. And
right.
it made the room last year. It made the room like 80-something degrees. I mean, people were sweating, and it was not comfortable. So this year it was, and just a much better experience. There was one little choke point. Where Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were. They kind of put him in right near the edge where it went around a corner, it kind of made a big clump up area for them. But overall, I mean, they did a great job.
Well, from the video that everything was being shown, and from all the pictures that you were taking, I mean, we were marking out last week on our podcast because you had some good stuff, and it seemed like that place was packed. It had energy. Everybody was hyped to be there. Everybody was smiles. Because it definitely was like the place to be. I was pissed I wasn't there. Let me tell you. I was pissed. I was cursing out people in my uncle's house. I was going nuts. Like they can all kiss my ass. I was mad.
You were also featured on Katrina's Instagram story.
Instagram, yeah, and Johnny tweeted out the he tweeted that the boon out as well, and
I saw that. That was cool.
And then PJ Black put the he put the art on his Instagram yesterday and tagged me in it too. One of the great things, there's this one guy from he has a company called Fisticuffs Photography, and he's always he does rock concerts, wrestling. He does all kinds of stuff. He's a really great photographer. He's the one that took the picture of me with Luchasaurus, and he actually offered. He took the picture of my shitty phone, and it didn't come out. And he took it. He's like, "Here, let me take one here too." So, and then he got a couple of pictures of me later on in the weekend too. But he's always a super nice guy. So, I always want to say, thank you for people who are definitely nice to me. Made my way around. Finally, like I said, I talked to you guys a couple times, and I ended up having to go take a break at one point because it's just so many. It wasn't asses to elbows like it was in the last 2 years at the other ones. So the amount of space for fans, and there was actually like 50% more people there this year than previous years. So if they'd have kept the old setup, it would have been it would have been a nightmare.
It would have been horror.
Yeah. And so, I mean, just huge kudos to them. You're able to get around, like I said, get around everywhere pretty easily. Nobody, there was no drama, no craziness. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And, made my way around, got to see Mil Muertes, was so happy to see that.
That was a nice pic with him, by the way.
He was so nice. And, when I gave him a picture of the Mil Muertes art, he's like, I've seen this already, haven't I? I'm like, yeah. I said, you've seen this one. He's like, okay. He said, I like this. He's like, I like this one a lot. And he had the LU championship belt, and he had a Gift of the Gods title.
Nice.
Also.
Oh, wow.
And of course I was like, I don't remember him winning the.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. And so I was like, if I'm with Mil Muertes, I want the heavyweight title,
Yeah. And I don't think you're going to argue with him about you didn't win Gift of the Gods.
No, I'm not going to tell him that.
Yeah, he gives you one of those. He gives you one of those patented punches.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh God, that'd be awesome.
I don't think nobody wants to see Zeus get his ass kicked at WrestleCade by Mil Muertes.
Yeah, and he goes. He looks at me after we got the picture done, and he's like, he holds up. He's like, you want the T-shirt? And I'm like. He's like, you're a double X, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, right here. He's like 20. I'm like, all right. $20. So I was like, that was the only T-shirt I bought the whole weekend.
Yeah, you could have said, I dare you to say no to him.
Right? Yeah. What am I going to say no?
Yeah. I was like, shit. I don't want to get choke slammed.
And then I met Hoovy. Hoovy liked his artwork.
The juice.
Has he really changed it around? Has he really changed it around? Is he really nice now, or is he still a dick?
No, he was nice. He was nice last year too.
Okay, well, then the rumors are true that he's trying to clean up his image.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got some good people in his, in his circle now, and
Cool.
I think cool. He's probably not doing some of the things that were bad for him anymore.
That would be smart.
Yeah. Went over, said hello to Vampiro.
Nice.
He was actually at the same table with Lance Storm.
Oh
wow! And I'd messed up, and I had my notebook had come open at one point. See, this is James. Why I need your ass there, because
I know.
Shit was not working the way I wanted it to, and so I'd actually accidentally left the second copy of the Vampiro in the trunk of my car for him to sign. But he signed, he signed something else for me, which was still nice for him. And then before I could really get to talk to him about anything else, fucking Buff Bagwell comes up with a damn camera dude for a vlog or some shit, and they start arguing about, it's like, hey man, he's like, don't tell me to call you, and then you don't fucking call me back. He's like, man, you didn't call me. He's like, I did too, and it's like this whole thing back and forth, and I'm like,
fuck that. I would have punched Buff Bagwell right in the calf.
Just a gigolo.
And zero brutal.
Yeah. Meef, I didn't see the Mad T-shirts for sale. Or I was gonna buy a Mad T-shirt just to piss off Justin from the MMM show, because he sent Hoovy money and he still hadn't gotten his Mad T-shirt yet. And so I got to say hello to Lance, and I said that, sadly, I said that, the times that ECW came to North Carolina, I didn't get to see you wrestle. I said I didn't get to see you wrestle until Survivor Series 2001. I said you were on the Sunday Night Heat, and you were in that the Immunity Battle Royal in the Survivor Series. And he's like, oh yeah. I said Battle Royal is just my favorite type of match. And he said, yeah. And I said, no, I like your Twitter too. I said, you seem to, you seem to pretty much, you seem to be pretty accurate with the way you call things, and the way you, it's like, okay, well, that was stupid. It's like, okay, that was unsafe, or, stuff like that. And he say, appreciate it. And he really is. He's that guy. He's, he's just serious, straight laced, nice guy. I told him too. Cool. I said, you were one of the guys that never, when I watched you wrestle, I never seemed like you wanted to hurt somebody, really hurt people. And he just, the way he shook his head, he was, I was like, no.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because, I think a lot of people, like, like maybe, you look back at the stupid things you did to yourself and other people, it's probably, you probably didn't have to do that.
Not everybody can be Ahmed Johnson,
right? Or look at the guys that we've lost, that took way too many chair shots, like Balls, Axel, and a lot of those guys that probably shouldn't have done that shit to themselves and each other. So, once again, just an amazing experience. When I came out to talk to you guys, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but Psychosis was actually sitting in the sofa in front of me, and he was eating Jimmy John's.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't have his mask on or anything, so the other people around
Put your mask on.
They didn't know who he was. They didn't know who he was. And he even asked somebody, he was like, "What time is it?" And they were like, and he was like, "Okay." He's like, "A couple more hours." And,
Cool.
you know, they were
I
just
want to
like,
hear.
they didn't know who he was.
Awesome.
It's funny.
That's cool. That's cool. He was eating Jimmy John's. I want to
Yeah.
hear. All right, Zeus. You know what I want to hear? I want to hear about the ECW retrospective, November to Remember.
Well, hang on just a minute. Let me tell you about the WrestleCade pay-per-view.
Oh
event.
yeah. Duh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was, you know, my buddy Hoop sold me one of his front row seats, and so I was, you know, front and center for that. You know, a lot of fun. Then we had the, you know, a couple matches in. We had Eli Drake got beat by Hurricane. And then they had the big, the top rope belts, battle royal, and you get a belt at the end of the year. You know, whoever wins gets a belt. And Helms won it last year, and so there was like 30 guys in it. It was like so many guys I lost track of who the hell was in it. But you know, like Falaba was in it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And, yeah, and at one point early in the match, they picked up, and like a bunch of people picked up Hurricane Helms, just threw him out. You know, and they were like, "You're not winning it again this year." And then everybody starts beating everybody else up, and then all of a sudden, Falaba farts.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
He farts, and like legitimately 10 guys left the battle royal. They eliminated themselves, and we're like, all right, we're going home.
Nice.
And then this oh so familiar music cranked up.
What? No.
And the Sandman comes to the ring.
I fucking missed it.
Through the crowd with a 12-pack of Budweiser.
Oh, your mother. Shit.
Serving beer along the way, standing on chairs, holding the kendo stick up high, as 6,000 people sing along with Enter Sandman by Metallica.
I just do my. Wait a minute! I just do my double can across the room, and I'm pissed. God damn it!
I knew that was going to get you.
You guys planned that. That was messed up, both of you.
Yeah,
you guys played that shit, didn't you? I'm gonna kick both your asses when I see you one day. What? Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm heated right now. I'm hot.
And
that must have been awesome to witness.
Oh yeah, and so he gets in the ring. He gets eliminated in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, who cares? All you want to do is drink beer.
Yeah. Then New Jack's music cranked up.
Oh my god! No way.
And New Jack came to the ring with a garbage can full of weapons and get the shit out of a whole bunch of people.
Oh.
And then it finally came down to Falaba, and I think the guy's name is Duke Dross or something like that. And Falaba ended up winning the battle royal.
I can't believe the Sandman was there, came out and everything, drank beer and everything. He did the whole beer gimmick, the whole nine, the whole shit.
Song. Every bit of Enter Sandman.
Did he kendo stick anybody?
Oh yeah. He kendo sticked a lot of people in the ring.
Good. Any fans? Did he hit any fans over the head?
No fans.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Tracy's he's all for fans enjoying themselves and not being hit in the head with bamboo kendo sticks.
Yeah.
I definitely would have bumped for Sandman if I was in there. I was like, hit me.
Oh yeah. And and I've also forgot to mention from the Fan Fest, met Ultimo Dragon and Sonny Ono.
Fuck, Sonny Ono's God, man. He's awesome.
Yeah. And I was handing Ultimo Dragon the artwork, and Sonny's like, "Where's mine?" He's like, "I'm like, you got a great cartoon caricature on your chest right there on your T-shirt."
That's it. Go home.
And I told him, I said, the reason I picked those colors is because those are the ones you wore the 2 times I saw you in 1997 Wrestle Live. And through Sonny, he asked who the matches were against, and I said against Steven Regal and Alex Wright, and he said he remembered. Ultimo said he remembered, and Sonny's like, yeah, I remember those too. I said, yeah, you ought to remember. I said, it's against Regal. That's when you turned on him. And so we got a kick out of that, and he really liked that art, and I got a mask from him, and they were just once again super nice.
I was still marking out on Sandman came to the ring. I fucking hate you,
man.
You're killing me right now. You're killing me.
I know. Then we had Road Warrior Animal came to the ring with the War Kings. Yeah. And they beat the crap out of the boys in about 7 minutes. That was pretty much a squash match. Poor little fellers. And
little fellers.
Yeah. Then it was then we had Ultimo Dragon and Hoovy against with Sonny Ono against Worldwide Underground.
Oh my God, I'm just shaking my head right now.
PJ Black, Johnny Mundo, and Taya. And they came out. They had their new Slamtown flags, and John, they're the heels, and I mean they were talking shit and everything, and they really beat the shit out of Hoovy and Ultimate.
Oh man!
I mean it was a very one-sided match.
I wouldn't beat up Ultimo. I'd gladly beat the shit out of Hoovy. Yeah.
And Hoovy wore a Mad T-shirt and Mad lit up mask to the ring.
Oh wow!
And I was just like,
that's nice. That's
nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, right now, some Justin somewhere going, fuck you, Hoovy, fuck you. And like I said, man, the faces had a few good spots here and there, but really it was PJ and Giant he just roughed them up. It's like
you were experiencing all this at WrestleCade, and I'm drinking shitty eggnog, freezing my balls off in frozen New York. I am pissed.
Yeah, I know.
Killing me.
Oh, I know. And Worldwide Underground came through with the win, and they did some great poses at the end. PJ Black on his YouTube channel, he's got the match with Caleb Conley and that tag team match on his channel. You can check that.
Cool.
Then co-main event was Taya against Penelope Ford in a street fight.
Oh wow,
nice.
And once again, Taya steals the show. She and Penelope Ford, they beat the hell out of each other. And at one point, Penelope Ford had like this long sleeve mesh top over her other top, and Taya ripped it open and just started chopping her right in the chest, and just turned her chest into hamburger. And they're throwing each other through tables and everything, and damn. Oh man, it was great. And at the end, Penelope Ford went to Frankensteiner her through a table.
Oh,
and
nice.
Taya just grabbed her midway through. It was like, nope, and jerked her back up, and then just power bombed her through the fucking table for the win.
Oh my God,
Jesus.
That was a really cool ass brutal match, and you know, just you know, just another insane, you know, great night. And then the final match was Jake Hager, Jake Strong against Nick Aldis, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh yeah,
Strong.
Yeah. So for the first time, since like one of the early Starcade, since like Starcade '93.
Oh,
This was the first. Well, actually, no, it was before that. So since the mid '80s, the first time that the NWA World Title had been defended in the Piedmont Triad area on Thanksgiving weekend, like it was originally intended to when they started doing Starcade.
The 10 pounds of gold, baby.
Yeah, and literally that's the first time that the Lucha Underground champion faced the NWA World Champion in a title match. So that was a pretty cool thing. It was a very kind of traditional NWA type of match. It was not a super high flying. It was a good hard hitting wrestling match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I probably had an emotion dump from everything else from earlier. And it was a good solid match. Good solid match. Nick Aldis wins. You know, and then they shake each other's hands at the end in respect. So that was, you know, a great night. And then after that, I went to the podcast show. Bruce Pritchard and Conrad's something to wrestle with show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Conrad Thompson, right?
Yeah, Conrad Thompson, and they were nice. They were very funny, very funny. You know, told some great stories. Pritchard said that Shane when he was 16 he was bugging Vince and Linda to get an earring, and you know, Vince was vehemently against it, and one day he said that Shane put a clip-on in his ear, a clip-on earring in his ear, was walking around the house like it was, you know, no big deal, and Vince saw it and went to snatch it out of his ear, and it was just a clip-on. And he said to Vince, was like, "Oh, you got me, Shane. That was really funny. Ha ha ha." Said that he took Shane by the head and put his head on the kitchen counter and grabbed one of the kitchen knives and stabbed him in the fucking earlobe, screaming at him, "You want to get your hair pierced? Here, I'll pierce your ear."
Jesus.
Yeah.
Holy.
Now, once again, Pritchard's been known to exaggerate the truth. Yeah. So, but that's what, you know, there was a lot of great stories. And Kane, Glenn Jacobs was his special guest. And they talked about a bunch of stuff that, you know, it was like I think we were in there for about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So
the dysfunctional McMahon family.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. He talked shit about a whole bunch of people. So, and then Sunday, the ECW retrospective. I know. I know James hated he missed that, but it was Joe Gertner.
Oh my God! He told me he was wearing his neck brace.
He was.
He was. He was doing his gimmick. Oh, what an idiot! I love it.
No, he wasn't wearing.
Oh, okay.
But he was there. He was sitting there, and he it was him, Sandman, Shane Douglas, Francine, C.W. Anderson, New Jack, Blue Meanie.
Oh
wow. Jerry Lynn.
Oh my God.
Kid Cash.
Mother, father.
Yeah. And there might be one other person I might be forgetting. And so so basically, like, they started out the thing talking about November to Remember a little bit, and Gerner was kind of emceeing it, and he was like, he's like, was anybody there in '93? Anybody that's here were they there in '93? And nobody remembered, and it was like, after a few times of people not remembering what the hell happened,
see, I should have been there. See, I should have been there.
Right.
I would have raised my hand. I'm like, you idiot.
Yeah. And like, I was like looking it up on my phone. I'm like, oh, okay. Shane fought. He wrestled Ron Simmons in like '95 in November to Remember, but they just went ahead and made it question and answer, which turned out to be better. And the first guy up, man, the first guy to ask a question is this fucking skinny fucking, I don't know, 18, 19-year-old kid.
What does the 18, 19-year-old kid know about ECW? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Okay, right. Well, sorry, he starts out and he says, I was reading the Brian Pillman biography, and he said, I want to know, like, he's like demanding. He's like, I want to know. It says in there that he said a racial slur at one of the events, and that really caused a lot of problems.
This idiot kid. It was back in the 90s. We were saying all kinds of shit to the concession stand girl. We didn't give a shit. Dude, she didn't hit that motherfucker over there with a chair. I would have given a chair shot for that stupid question, idiot.
Yeah, and you talk about it, really took the air out of the room. I mean, it's like it went silent.
Oh, man.
And so everybody kind of looks over at New Jack, and New Jack takes the microphone. He's like, he said, one night, he said, Pillman referred to me and Mustafa as those two N-words over there. But of course, you know what New Jack said. New Jack said the word.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, I'm not letting you, he's like, I'm not letting anybody talk to me like that or talk about me like that. And he said he went to Paul and he said, look, he said, there's 2 million words in the dictionary. And he said, your boy said that about me and Mustafa. He said, and he's not getting away with that shit, and I'm going to whoop his ass. Well, that night, they ended up, like, getting him out. Like, New Jag, he told some other friends of his, and they were, like, looking for his ass. And so they had to change Pillman's hotel that night. Because Pillman was lucky he didn't get the shit beat out of him that night. And, and so it's like,
I would have chest shot at the 18-year-old idiot.
He deserved it. And then it got a little bit better from there. People telling, getting some better questions.
You needed somebody who was experienced with that shit there. Because I know you went to some ECW shows, Zeus.
Right.
I should have been there, and I would have told Shane Douglas to kick my ass again.
Yeah. There was a girl that had seen them several times way back in the day, eventually everything turned more into a normal panel after that.
Yeah.
After that,
what was your question?
Well, I said, hey, out of you guys that are up here, I said, it was 1999 when ECW came to North Carolina, to the Carolinas for the very first time. And I asked Jerry Lynn, I said, you were in the main event of the first show in North Carolina that I saw against Rob Van Dam for the TV title. I said, did Taz, ever give you any shit about that, about being, over him in the main event, and he was the, ECW world champion. Mm-hmm. And Jerry Lynn was like, no, he's like, I don't even remember if Taz was on that card. I went, yeah, he was on that card against Sabu. And he's like, oh, he said, well, he said, I don't think he had a problem with that. And New Jack grabs a microphone and he's like, oh, bullshit. And you know, it's like supposed to be like, you know, like a more adult oriented show, but there was a few people brought their kids to this thing.
Oh my
You can't
God.
bring kids to an ECW panel show.
I
What's
know.
wrong with these people? What crack are they smoking?
It's like this 10-year-old kid walked up there.
Oh my God.
And he was like two people in front of me. And he said, I got two questions for New Jack. New Jack went, I ain't your daddy.
I love New Jack. He's awesome.
Oh yeah. And then like somebody asked Sandman about the angle with his son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said he, you know, some things that Sandman was completely you know, he didn't remember at all. But he said that he said Paul called him and said, hey man, Macaulay Culkin wants to do an angle on ECW. He wants to be your son.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he's like, shit, Paul. He's like, you know, he's like, how much is that going to cost us? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I got a perfectly good 5-year-old right here. You know,
and I'm probably do it for a Raven autograph. That's it.
yeah, exactly. You know, he's like, I got my own kid. He's like, let's do that.
Macaulay Culkin, he's not hardcore. Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
We're back to beating up Joe Pesci. Get the fuck out of here. You know,
James, that should be a T-shirt. Maybe Macaulay Culkin. He's not hardcore.
He's not hardcore. Get the fuck out of here, you skinny little twerpy bastard.
Oh yeah, and then they I forgot to ask Kid Cash about it, if that was his tryout in Winston or not. But and then you know, they were talking about some of the drug use and stuff, and Sandman said one night, he said he was standing there, he's like all zoned out, and Blue Meanie said, yeah, he said, I remember that. He's like, I came up to you and I said, what the hell's wrong with you? And you said, I'm on my third hit of acid. And he's like, oh, great. He's like, you going to be able to wrestle or not? He's like, I don't know. And they said they told Paul, and Paul said, get the fuck over. He's like, somebody find fucking New Jack, get him some cocaine and fucking get him out of that shit.
Oh my God.
It's like, literally, it's like, you know, telling him to do, you know, cocaine. He's like, he did ecstasy and cocaine the same nights and shit. It's like, God, it's like, it's a wonder you're alive, man. And, yeah, like when Francine saw the little kid the first time, she knows, like, you know, she's like, oh no, she's like, it's like, what's the little kid doing here? And then you know, and Roadkill, oh yeah, Roadkill was there. And
I miss Roadkill. He was awesome.
Yeah, he looks like Fester now from Adam's Family. Without the bags under his eyes, he looks like a young fella. And he was super nice. And we were talking about that the night in Winston. He wrestled the Dudleys in the main event. It was him and Balls Mahoney. Balls. Yeah, against the Dudleys. And it was because it was supposed to be him and Doring, but Doring was hurt. So
I always thought Danny Doring was underrated. He wasn't bad.
No, I thought he was very good. I thought he was, you know, once again, he was in the perfect place for you know, for where he should have been.
Right.
Because, you know, they never would have used him right in WWF anyway.
No.
But yeah, he said that Roadkill said that at one point he's like, one of his thumbs wasn't. He's like, he's trying to move one of his thumbs, he couldn't move it, and he looked down, he realized he had one of the thumbtacks was in his thumb. It was apparently like touching a nerve or something.
Nice.
But that was, yeah, because that night was that summer of '99, that was when like the Dudleys put Balls Mahoney through a flaming thumbtack table every night.
Oh, the flaming yeah, all the time, man.
Yeah, and
I'm still heated on that 18-year-old kid.
Oh yeah. Well, then he came back up and asked another question.
Should have suplexed the bastard.
Oh yeah, he asked about the new breed.
Oh, come on.
What? Like
what the hell does he know about the new breed?
Axel Rotten, and like he asked about Axel, and then he said he's like any stories about Axel and the quote. He's like literally air quoting the so-called talented Ian Rotten, and I'm like, what?
Yo, somebody should have knocked this kid on his ass and stomped a mud hole in it. What is wrong with
literally,
this idiot?
I said out loud, I was like, did you have problems working with him, kid? I was like,
let me tell you something, Zeus. Maybe it was a good thing I wasn't there because I would have killed that kid.
Yeah, I mean, but
idiot.
Yeah, but that got some great stories about Axel because apparently everybody loved him.
Axel was supposedly he was loved in that locker room.
Yeah, and they said that he did great impressions of other wrestlers and stuff, and he was very well liked.
Stupid kid.
Pitbull #1 was there too.
Ah, okay.
Gary Wolf was there, and he said a few nice things about them and the Eliminators and things.
I used to love the Pitbulls. I used to love Elimination. I used to love Enjoy Styles. I used to call that move Total Elimination. He used to lose it. It was awesome.
Yeah, and
I would have clotheslined that kid and then popped open the beer just for the hell of it.
Oh man. I mean,
he would have got his ass kicked. Bang! There you go. Shut the hell up, you little scrungy bastard.
Oh my god!
I'm like, it's like I just didn't understand where this. I'm like, dude, you weren't even a fucking sperm yet. When this, when
he was still swimming in his daddy's nuts. So I get the hell out of here, you little piece of crap. Oh my god. Sorry,
but yeah,
I'm just heated. I'm just heated that I wasn't there. I'm heated that the Sandman came out. I'm heated that Zeus needed my help. I'm just heated that I didn't close like that little. I want to send that little bastard home back to his mama.
For the record, the Mark Out Mania podcast has nothing against younger people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you should have been at least alive and watching it when you were. About stuff you're upset about 25 years old.
Yeah, 18 years old. What the hell you know about ECW, okay? You never got sweated on or pissed on or beer thrown at you. None of that shit. Hit with a kendo stick. You have blood stains come on your T-shirt.
Tommy Dreamer standing above you going, fuck, ECW.
That's right. I mean, like the Sandman throwing a beer cup back in your face because it was empty. You didn't have none of that shit happen to you, you little scrumsy bastard. All right, so shut the hell up and go back home to your mommy. Go play Pokemon. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's like, I'm just like going, like, I was like, ugh.
Oh my God. Meef was saying like he could imagine that kid at like a WWE panel going talking about Chris Benoit.
Yeah, he would have got like yeah, exactly. He got thrown out the room. What the hell, man?
Oh my
goodness, that little. Oh my God.
Well, the thing is too I
would have hit the kid over the head. I would have an ECW title belt with me. I would have hit him right over the head with it.
You said it was $10?
It's $10 to watch it on Fight TV. It's still available.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit. And you know what? I'm gonna find out where that little fucker lives, and I'm gonna go piss on his house.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
What else happened?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm just heated because I wasn't there, so I'm taking it out on this kid.
Well, like as Shane asked, they were talking about how amazing it was, how different it was, what they tried to do, and all of the great, things that just kind of organically happened because they were the guys that loved wrestling and loved being wrestlers,
That's awesome.
And didn't fit in ECW. I mean, didn't fit in WCW. They didn't fit in WWF.
They landed the misfit toys.
Exactly. And and how they all made it together. And it's like when C.W. Anderson made a good point. He's like a lot of people, a lot of us, we would wrestle for months and not get paid, and we kept showing up night after night, and kept doing more than just, it was, we all helped do stuff. We were all putting the ring up and setting up chairs and, setting up merch tables and just, they were all doing a lot more than just showing up and wrestling and going home. And they were, a lot of them, did all that shit for nothing for so long, just because they loved it and believed it. And
it was all for the business, because it wasn't about a paycheck, obviously.
Right. And then they were all such great, they all became, very well bonded.
Oh,
your connection's bad, James.
James turned into a transformer.
Wi-Fi problems. And I'm having Wi-Fi problems just because the idiot next door is doing construction again, and he's fucking up my Wi-Fi. I'm about to go outside and just
go calm down, James.
No, I'll eat it now. That's it. It's on. I'm gonna have another one.
Yeah, but and like I said, I mean, we got to make noise on social media, especially at WrestleCade. Let them know we want another November to Remember next year. It's really special this year because this is 25 years since ECW started in '93. I mean, it just, and we were just scratched the surface with some of those things. Like I said, I mean, it's a great event. I highly suggest to anybody that, definitely check it out on Fight TV for $9.99. That's a deal. I'm definitely going to go watch it so I can, see myself. Oh, and I gave myself a cheap pop, and, I'm like, hey, I'm Zeus. I'm right here. Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Blue Meanie called me a G-pop. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, thank you very much. And but like I said, I mean, they were all so nice, and it was an amazing weekend. I was just so wiped out. I had, part of my front row VIP package included the two other Sunday shows that I was just too drained to go to do them all by myself. But next year I definitely want to see, the Queens of Combat the day after show. And, it's just a fantastic event. And they're the kind of people that want to, make it better. So, and then, one final thing, one of the things that, like PJ Black said to me, is that as far as Lucha Underground Season 5 goes, is that real emails to them at that info at elraynetwork.com, that's the kind of thing that they really listen to a lot, even more so than stuff on social media. The people that take time to type out an email is gonna count as a lot of weight. So definitely hit up the El Rey Network website, and then hit contact, and that info is something apparently they listen to a lot of. And so like when that's where we got to tell them, like, look, a lot of us are paying $10 extra a month to get the cable package to get El Rey because we want to see Lucha Underground. And, it's like, the main reason that we watch El Rey Network is for Lucha Underground, because you don't have any other great original programming that people want to see. You know, so you let them. We all got to let them know that season 5 is something we want, and exactly what El Rey has to offer. Other than that, is very little. If that's the way you feel. I mean, that's certainly the way I feel.
Yeah. Oh,
so it was a great show. Sorry. My voice is a little froggy, but I powered through it. I found a little bit left of the codeine cough syrup and powered through it.
Zeus, thanks you so much for for last week for the shout outs and
yes,
and then of course for sharing all these stories with everyone. This has been fantastic.
It was a great show. And it's fun. I'm so glad that I had something like this. Some people like this to share this with this year. I wished I could have done more. And it's kind of funny because a lot of these wrestlers and the talent, a lot of people were reconnecting. It's like Lance Storm said that one of the big reasons he came to WrestleCade at all was because Precious Paul Ellering was going to be there.
Oh wow!
And he hadn't, he's like, I'm going to meet fans. He said, but I'm also going as a fan. And so to see all the interaction between people, and like Dr. Tom Pritchard came up and talked to Carly Perez for a while, and just to see all these other people, the way they were interacting with each other and being kind of being fans and friends, and it's a whole lot of fun and really unique experience. And I'm glad I got to share a little bit of that with you guys.
Well, thank you so much. It looks like we lost James at some point.
No.
But next week,
he's probably beating the shit out of his neighbor right now.
Yeah. And next week we're going to be doing comic books, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking comic books next week. And thanks to everyone in the chat room, me, YYA,
Zero,
Melissa, everyone who came by. And we will see everyone next week. And hopefully James will return. And adios.